So I just had an encounter with a magical pedal, the Source Audio encounter. Yeah. Let's check it out, shall we? The Source Audio Encounter is a combination delay and reverb pedal that is focused especially on ambient, textural, and experimental musicians. So cool there. It allows you to take any two of its 6 delay engines or 6 reverb engines and combine them in surprising and beautiful ways. Like any modern stereo pedal, it has all the features and capabilities you would expect, including MIDI expression and control inputs. You can route the 2 engines in different ways. You can route them in series, in parallel, or even split stereo, where one engine comes out the left ear and one engine comes out the right. And finally, the Encounter integrates quite nicely with Source Audio's Neuro app for deep editing of patches and managing your patches in general. I've got 5 presets that I've created here, and I just want to run through them all briefly so you can get a feel for what this pedal can do. So here's the Neuro 3 app, and as you can see, I've selected the patch or preset that I've called Chasing the Nebula. And here's what it sounds like. Yes, very, very nice. Now, if you look again at the Neuro app, you'll see that I'm running a reverb first. It's the Hypersphere reverb. So let's check that out by itself. Ooh, yeah, that is a beautiful sounding reverb. And I should mention that no matter what you do with patch management in the Neuro app, you can always override things such as the reverb size, pre-delay, tone, modulation, etc. with the controls on the pedal itself. What you'll note here is that I've got the 2 engines in series. So I'm running a reverb into a delay. So the delay is the kaleidoscope delay, and here's what that sounds like with its current settings. Yeah, ooh, that's nice. Now, with both of these engines, you've got a lot of controls. I'm not going to go over all the controls, but I just want you to take a peek at them. For each engine, there is a designer area that will have controls that are unique to either the reverb or the delay engine. Underneath that, there are bass controls, which are kind of starting values for things like pre-delay, feedback, the delay time, the number of repeats of the delay, and then each delay or reverb has modulation capabilities. So very cool here. So again, here's what this sounds like with both the reverb and the delay on, and the reverb running in series into the delay. Now let's pretend that I want to change that up a little bit with the pedal. I've got the little selector switch set over to the delay side on the pedal, which is actually a reverb. But let me go ahead and bring the feedback knob down, and this is going to make the reverb much smaller. So just a brief example of how you can tweak a patch on the fly with any of the knobs that are actually on the pedal. Very cool. Preset number 2 is what I'm calling Voices of the Cosmos. And the reason why I selected the word voices is because this patch or preset is a resonant delay engine running in series into the Shimmer's reverb type. So let's examine the reverb type by itself for a moment. Here we go. That's really, really nice. And if you look at the Neuro app, you'll see that there are actually 2 Shimmer voices. And I've got one Shimmer voice set to an octave below the original pitch and one set to an octave above the original pitch. And of course, that big feedback knob controls the size of the reverb itself. All right, let's examine the delay by itself. And this is the resonant delay. Yeah, so it's a very long delay. I believe it's 2.6 seconds, if I recall. And the thing about the resonant delay is it's got a resonance filter that you can adjust in the resonant designer. So you can add a lot of different filtering capabilities that are very cool. So I've set one that's fairly mellow. But if I bring the depth up, you can hear how it changes. Let me go ahead and make that. Let's make the time a little shorter. Yeah, there we go. And of course, I can change the filter mix. I can change the filter Q. I can change the cutoff. Yeah, very nice. And when you put them both together, I'll go ahead and leave that like it is, but I'm going to go ahead and make the delay time, again, very long on this delay. Here's what we get with some volume swells with my volume pedal. The third preset I want to share is called Allanesque, and it's called Allanesque because, you know, my guy, Allan Holdsworth, he was famous for using a lot of parallel delays to create very interesting and complex repeats and modulation. We don't have as many delay engines as some of the equipment Allan used, but we do have the capability of using 2 noise tape delays and run them in parallel. So here's what this patch sounds like. And as you can see in the Neuro app, I'm taking advantage of the wow and flutter settings on the first delay, and that's going to be the shorter timed delay. And you can hear that wobble. And on the longer delay, I've elected to really dial down that flutter. I don't really want it on this delay. I just want some modulation. And that sounds great in and of itself, but when I add it in with a shorter delay, it's kind of magical. Preset number 4 is what I'm calling Volume Pedal Nirvana. And again, it's inspired by Alan Holdsworth's presets on the UD Stomp, where the wet-dry mix was turned up to 100% wet to provide just this beautiful bed for doing volume swells with a volume pedal. Here's what this sounds like, and then we'll break it down just a bit. Again, I'm using the parallel capability. This time, on the left, I've got a delay, and it's the echo verb delay. On the right, you'll see I'm using the hypersphere reverb type, and I'm running them in parallel, so they're hitting both the right and left sides of the stereo field without running into each other. They're just running alongside of each other, which gives you a really kind of thick, massive kind of feel for it. So let's check out just the echo verb itself without the reverb engine. Yeah, cool. And what I really want to do is, again, make the delay speed a little bit shorter. And you can hear that the reverb level or the delay level is much louder than my unaffected tone. Right, so that gives us that kind of feel that I'm looking for. And if I do volume swells just with this, it's really, really nice. Now, again, with this preset, I could go ahead and tweak that balance between wet and dry right on the pedal. I don't have to go into the Neuro app to do that. Let's go ahead and check out the reverb side. Again, this is running in parallel, so they're not mixing, they're just running together. This is the hypersphere reverb. And as you can see, the mix, again, is turned all the way up. And I'm not really using anything in the Hypersphere Designer, which is mostly a phaser. And it sounds really cool, but for this particular patch, I wanted an unphased signal with just a little bit of modulation there, as you can see at the bottom. And again, if I turn both engines on, running in parallel, here's what I'm getting for these volume swells. And if the chordal structure is very simple, then I can go ahead and increase that delay time to the max of 2.5 seconds. All right, here we are at preset number 5, and I'm pretty excited about this one. I figured out how to turn the encounter into a drone Machine. Oh, yes. So if we look at the Neuro app, well, you'll see what's going on. I've got two delay engines running in parallel, and both delay engines are the kaleidoscope delay engine. So we're kaleidoscoping out. But delay engine number 2, so that would be the one on the right, is set up with the feedback turned up to 100%. So if I play, let's say, a low C sharp, this is tuned down to C sharp, by the way. If I play a low C sharp, it's just going to keep going. And not only that, I've set the pedal itself up, the hardware, into trails mode. So when I disengage the delay engine, the delays will just keep on going. All right, so let me go ahead and get a drone going here, and we'll see what that sounds like. Cool so far. We'll add a fifth in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off the delay engine. And as you can hear, the drone is continuing. And I've not timed it all the way out, but I've let this thing go for 5 or 10 minutes. And it just kind of hangs out, which is pretty cool. Let me go ahead and bring in the other delay engine. And now I've got a delay set up that I can use for soloing over top of the drone. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, if I take that first delay engine and just make the delay time shorter, I'm going to set myself up now for some picking. And again, the mix is not quite right, so I'm just going to reach over on the pedal and lower the mix level a little bit. That is great. Now, if I make that delay a little longer again, and I pick up my ebow and set up for some ebowing, that's pretty cool too. So my encounter with a Source Audio Encounter has indeed been pretty magical. If you're an ambient, textural, or experimental guitarist, I highly recommend that you check the Encounter out to see what kind of amazing sounds you can create for your music. I'll have links to the pedal below, and I've got a link to a playlist of other Source Audio demos that I've done here on the channel. Check it out. See you over on those videos.